are completely averse to it's not so much negative feedback, but it's adverse effects and things like that, like unique regulatory environment to pharma. But my question, throwing it back towards you, is like, how do you deal with your clients in terms of filtering, feedback that isn't about adverse effects out of, because we as, their agency are not able to see that in theory either. So I'm just wondering if anybody has any experience with that, any experience with, and also, every company has a different idea about what is an adverse effect. So that makes it, doubly, triply complicated.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, it's interesting. We were recently working with a client that was doing stuff in the healthcare space, and our initial advice to them was what they wanted to achieve. We were like, it would be great. We can do a conference call with bloggers. We can podcast it. We know the community. Here's people you should be reading. Here's the topics that we should talk about. They're going to love it because they all know each other and they'll have a good time. And we just couldn't do it. But because there was too much risk, they've never done anything like this. So they're preparing as if they're towing. They're not even at the toe dipping stage yet. So we've kind of gone back another step, and we're doing a series of podcasts. But we're trying to respond to things that we're talking about. We're trying just to get that easy entry into the community. But engagement in social media, ideally, will be really open with really big conversations. I wish with all my clients I could talk about what they've done as much as we break it. In reality, in the business world, you can't quite do that. But you can approach it the right way. At a realistic level, I really think, just imagine that you're entering a foreign tribe's village. How are you going to get in there without getting your head cut off?
Because when you said about the negative, the two things that came to mind were, there is this perception of controlling the message that's a holdover from how media was run for so long. So the first thing to do with someone like that is get them over the fact that they've already lost control of the message. And then, you can engage very, very actively in social media and never make a peep just by listening. And so in a highly regulatory environment and a highly concerned about negative environment, the biggest thing you could do today is set up listening tools and figure out how to use them well. And even if they don't say anything back for 2 years because they just can't, start building that database right now.
Especially to learn the language and the vernacular and the slang and all the things you have to learn.
And the pharma who takes the lead on this will be a case study that can go to the FDA and say, here's how pharma should do this, and then rulemakers will roll it out. So they should start gathering.